What's happening, everybody? Trey here, and today, reactions to the classics. We're going to be hitting you up with a Phil Keaggy top 10 songs list. I want to shout out our longtime friend of the channel and patron and supporter. I'd say that 10 times fast, right? Thanks to Scott for not only bringing and curating this list, but a lot of the other Christian artist lists that we have had up on the channel. Man, there's been a lot of great ones, and I've had the privilege to do a few of them. My dad's done many as well, so you kind of building that back catalog of good Christian music, and not the stuff that maybe comes on the radio, but stuff that actually does pack a little bit more of a theological and musical punch, man. So I'm really looking forward to this list today. I did a song reaction to one or maybe even two of Phil's songs last year for Scott, and I really enjoyed that, and so now I'm gonna go with the full top 10 list. So let's just dive into it. Scott did a great write-up just of Phil and his music, and how that's impacted Scott, and then we'll dive into the list. So as we go, Scott notes, music has been for me an important component throughout my life as a follower of Jesus Christ. From my early days as a Christian teenager living in the San Francisco Bay Area, strong Christ-centered music has played a vital role in helping me stay focused and resolute in my love for Jesus. Along the way, a handful of musicians have been my companions as I moved through life and pastoral ministry and beyond. These artists have been important to me because of their unwavering commitment to produce high-quality music and lyrics that point to the truth of Christianity and the life lived with Jesus at the center. These list of artists include names like Terry Scott Taylor, John Michael Talbot, Michael Card, Pierce Pettis, Bob Bennett, Kerry Livgren, and others. Many of those artists are, lists Scott has already brought or been involved in various top 10 lists, and all great artists that we've been able to discover through these lists, man. So shout out to Scott. Scott goes on to say, near the top of the list is Phil Keaggy. Musically, there is simply no one better as a consummate musician, but beyond his virtuosity as an artist on the guitar, Keaggy stands out as a man of unusual integrity and Christ-like presence. Here's why I say this. Early in their young married life, Phil and his wife Bernadette prematurely gave birth to triplet boys, and because they were born only 5 months into the pregnancy, they didn't survive. This devastating loss was followed by 2 more pregnancies that ended similarly. They lost in total 5 sons to premature deliveries or stillbirths. Oof. Yet, in spite of such overwhelming loss and pain, Keaggy recorded albums that glorify and express absolute trust in the Lord. Phil and Bernadette Keaggy eventually gave birth to 3 healthy kids. Phil surrendered his life to Christ following the tragic death of his mother in a car accident. So for him, the pain of loss has been a present reality for him throughout his life. Yet rather than nurturing in himself any bitterness or anger, Keaggy has leaned on his love and faith in Jesus and the assurance of God's love for him and his wife to sustain him and provide him with the hope that only a relationship with Christ can provide. Musically, Phil is revered among his peers and has, now that he's into his 70s, earned a status as one of the godfathers of contemporary music, Christian or otherwise. The following list obviously contains some of his best music and displays only a small sampling of his otherworldly talent with the guitar, both electric and acoustic. The lyrics to some of these songs are informed by the pain and loss experienced by Keaggy and his wife. While not directly referencing their experience, these tracks reveal in Keaggy a deeper perspective and trust in Jesus that can only be born in hardship and struggle. It was tough for me to narrow down his music down to only 10 songs, but these tracks are a strong representation of Keaggy's work over the years. There are no purely instrumental tracks here, even though he produced a large number of instrumental albums that are remarkable and diverse. As with most of my list, there is no order to the songs as far as best to worst. I'll leave that to you. And just on our research, just a little quick synopsis. Phil has 55 albums and more than 55 albums, and contributed to many more recordings in both the contemporary Christian music and mainstream markets. 7-time recipient of the GMA Dove Award for Instrumental Album of the Year, and was twice nominated for a Grammy Award for Best Gospel Rock Record. He's frequently been listed as one of the world's top fingerstyle and finger-picking guitarist by Guitar Player magazine readers' polls. So all that to say, man, great write-up there, Scott. I'm totally with you in in the fact that pain and hardship and suffering really it really, I guess, reveals who you are deep down. And in my experience with the, just the hardships I've gone through has drawn me closer to God, and leaning on His love, and strengthened my relationship with Christ. And it's not an easy thing to walk out. And so I'm looking forward to what Phil has in store for us here. As always, y'all, gonna have the lyrics pulled up. Due to copyright, music might not be able to go through on YouTube, but you can check out the Vimeo link down below. It will have all the songs fully in there for you. And 6 of these are on Spotify, 4 of them coming off of the YouTubes. Kind of weird how Spotify doesn't have it has some stuff, but not all of it. But hey, we make it work. So thanks again to Scott for bringing this. And let's kick this thing off, man. Let's kick this thing off. We're gonna start the list with What a Day from the record of the same name, 1973. Scott notes he was 14 years old when the album was released. In those days, it seemed that every Christian album that came along was new and different than the last. This one broke ground in a number of ways. Even in his early 20s, Keaggy distinguished himself as a premier guitarist and began touring with and appearing on the albums of his Christian colleagues, most notably the band's Love Song and Second Chapter of Acts. This was his first solo effort after leaving his band Glass Harp. With this album, Keaggy plays all instruments and sings every part, featuring both his electric and acoustic work. This track has become his signature song. Over the years, I've attended many Keaggy concerts, and he always plays this song with extended instrumental jams thrown in. Well, with that write-up, ladies and gentlemen, I'm excited. Let's get this Phil Keaggy top 10 list going. Thanks again to Scott. All right, what a day, what a way to start off this list right here. Corny joke from me aside, man. Great track. You can already see, or hear rather, the impressive nature of Phil's guitar work. It had a little bit of slide guitar in there, and on top of a pretty acoustic guitar. The melody, very light and easy on the ears. And I even enjoyed some of the keyboard work, a little organ work, especially towards the end of the track as well. And lyrically really points to what I think is sometimes missing in our current day Christian culture. And I'm speaking to myself specifically of just being so focused on this world that we don't look forward to the paradise of heaven, of being with Jesus, of being without pain, without no more tears. And Phil kind of highlights some of that throughout here, and kind of name drops the New Testament heroes of the faith, John, James, Luke, and Paul, and Brother Tom. Without a doubt, I enjoyed that. Obviously calling back to the Apostle Thomas, and we get the King David. He says, "What a sight to see the redeemed and the angels gathered around worshiping the Lord. What a day that will be. Oh, what a day that will be." And just that whole "what a day" chorus, the longer it went, especially at the end, you could just really feel that authenticity of Phil's vocal delivery on that, and just the emotion and just joy, honestly, that was in his singing there. And that just kind of got me as a listener and believer, just looking forward and ready for that day, looking forward to that, and with anticipation, just running the race down here, knowing that in heaven, it's going to be much better than here. That's for sure, man. So great tune to start us off here. And now we are going to go to next song on the list. We have "Take Me Closer." This is from the Love Broke Through record in 1976. Taking this off of YouTube. Scott notes, "One thing I miss about the early days of Christian music is the innocence and purity of the artists and their lyrics. Looking back, so much of what was written seemed almost simplistic and naive in its outlook. Nevertheless, I can't help but miss those days and their simplicity of faith in Jesus." This track is a good example of Keaggy's simple yet tenacious faith in Christ as he and his wife were enduring tragedy and the loss of their children. Gotta just say from the jump, that ending minute and a half guitar solo, man, where Phil was just he was in touch with the Lord there. I'll tell you what, man, that was an unbelievable solo. Really enjoyed that. Production value, as we're a little later into his career in the 70s, was upped a notch. I think from our opening tune, you had kind of a bit more of a full sound with the choir vocals in the background at points. I thought that was a cool touch right there. And yeah, just the almost the not maybe childlike nature is not the right word, but just the purity and the lyricism, just those very earnest desires in here. Phil saying, you know, just simply take me closer to your side, take me closer to you. Your love is like the dawn, beautiful as the moon. Your love is as pure as the sun, keeping all life in tune with you. I love you, Lord. You're the source of my life, sweet Jesus, bringing forth the good fruit like a branch clinging to the vine, so I'm clinging to you. So there's not a lot of lyrics in here, but the ones that are, they just get to the point, man. They're concise, and they kind of put into words what you know, I think as Christians you feel, but maybe don't always put into words yourself. So that's one of the beauties of music in general, man, is the ability for these great artists like Phil here to take these grand concepts and put them into a way that is easily accessible to the listener here, and kind of draws out maybe even some of the listener's own feelings. So really enjoyed that one musically and lyrically rather. And now we're going to go to the third song on this list. We have another one that's here on YouTube. Town to Town, from the record of the same name, 1981. Scott notes, through the years, Keaggy has focused many of his lyrics on his family. Knowing a bit of his story, we can understand why he would value them so much. This track expresses the difficulty he experienced being on the road as a musician and the gravitational pull of his family waiting for him to return home. It definitely had a bit of a almost 70s prog style at the very start, you know, that two minutes where you know, the keys were going in, you know, guitar work, the synthesizer very prominent in this tune as well. Definitely felt of the 70s, of that, you know, kind of 70s early 80s time period. Not in a bad way, just you know, had that style with it. I enjoyed the fact that we were able to hear Phil you know, deliver almost a flamenco like acoustic section there towards the latter half of the song. And you know the song is pretty straightforward too, simple, where you could just, you know, feel and apply, I think, in your own situation as well, when you're homesick, when your job is taking maybe more of the attention than you'd like it to, where you want to be back with your family, and those struggles for Phil, you know, come back to, okay, I need to push into what gives me strength, and that's the Lord, man. And he says, there's an ache deep and down inside me when I'm all alone, and then you're there to remind me that everything is working as it should. Little Romans 8:28 action, people. Comforting your very own. You're so good. You're so good. So, you know, this one, man, I think the highlight for me was the instrumentation, just because there was such a long song, able to kind of have the distinct different sections, so to speak, in it, man, and it worked. It worked quite well, and I dug this one. Maybe not as much as the first two tunes, but still good in its own right, man. That's for sure. And we're gonna now go to another track here, number 4 on this list. When Will I Ever Learn to Live in God? From the Crimson and Blue record in '93. Scott notes, Phil loves to do cover songs. In fact, in 2012, he released an album made up completely of covers. One of his favorite songs to cover is George Harrison's Here Comes the Sun. This track is a cover of his song Van Morrison released on his '89 record Avalon Sunset. I'm probably biased, but I like Keaggy's rendition better than the original. All right, When Will I Ever Learn to Live in God? Another epic tune. Instrumentally, obviously, as with most of these Phil songs, the guitar is quite a highlight, as well as here that organ, which was a constant musical foundation droning throughout this song, man. And you could definitely feel the Van Morrison fingerprints, just knowing how, you know, Van likes to structure some of his you know, lengthier tunes, and he's not shy to throw that organ in there either. And the lyrical content, man, I enjoy kind of that first verse setting the stage and the imagery of the Avalon setting, so to speak. We get some of the biblical references of burning off the dross, innocence captured again, and then as we go to that first chorus, which yet again, probably my favorite part of the song, actually, just the way that Phil delivered it. Almost, you know, it makes sense. Van Morrison, he had a touch of Van Morrison's delivery in there, and yet he still made it his own, without appearing to be derivative, so to speak, man. And you just get that "When will I ever learn to live in God" as the organ kind of ramps up, and just the music crescendo, so to speak, before going back down. And noting, you brought it to my attention that everything was made in God. He notes all the great cathedrals and paintings and art that we've seen, which is a reflection of the beauty of God. We're made in the image of God, and reflect that in the various things that we do. And so I thought that was cool, how it was delving that out, so to speak. And we continue on. Whatever it takes to fulfill his mission, that is the way we must go. But you got to do it your own way. Tear down the old and bring up the new. That theological concept of regeneration and renewal coming through there. And so, cheers to Van Morrison for penning this song, and cheers to Phil for choosing it as a cover, and really packing forth yet again that emotional punch that a song like this deserves. So we're gonna go now, y'all, back to the old YouTube action as we go to our fifth song on the list. We have "Little Ones" from Flipside. I love that. I love that name. It's the PH, apostrophe LIF. It works. I see you. I see you, Keaggy, out here. This is from 1980. Scott notes, one of the more moving songs Keaggy has written. The song was written in the midst of the loss of one of their sons. His wife Bernadette wrote a book about their experience titled "A Deeper Shade of Grace," and talks about seeing her just deliver triplets. She describes their minuscule, lifeless 2-pound bodies and how perfect they looked, down to their little eyelashes and fingernails. I'm sure that is a difficult read, man. Before this experience, she hadn't understood how perfectly formed babies are so early in a pregnancy. In her words, their experiences woke them up to the tragedy of abortion on demand. This track expresses their new awareness and quickly became, at the time, an anthem for pro-life advocates. Wow, man, powerful song, "Little Ones" right here. Just starting off musically, definitely was the slowest song we've had so far on the list, which, I think was a wise move, reflecting the somber and serious nature of the theme of this song, of abortion, and just the fact that he, calls them little ones, I think, really just packs a big punch as well, man. He had a soft delivery, Phil did, in his vocals right here, and just that mixed with his acoustic guitar playing, man. It was a simple foundation, but one that was needed. And going to the lyrics, I like how Phil didn't hold back his beliefs, man. He said, "Helpless and half abandoned, they've got the right to choose life. They don't want to lose. I've got to speak up, won't you? Equal rights, equal time for the unborn children. Their precious lives are on the line. How can we be rid of them? Passing laws, passing out bills and new amendments. Pay the cost and turn around and face the young defendants." And then he goes on to kind of look in a more grand scope of just the sinful nature of humanity. "Tears for him who made you. Should all on earth forsake you now, but he'll never forsake you." He continues to note that the earth will soon be shaken. So he brought in a lot of both personal nature to the track, as well as grand scoping and biblical nature. And as somebody who is pro-life myself, man, and just it seems as the years have gone on, it's just become a more and more just a politicized issue, this and that. And you got the pro-choice side, who believes if you're pro-life that you don't care for them, and that you don't believe that they should have any rights or this or that. And then on the flip side, you have people on the pro-life side that maybe are a bit overzealous, and I'm not for going out of in front of Planned Parenthood with signs and this or that you sometimes see, but I think those people are the outliers. Just in anything, especially in our modern day culture, man, the extremes on both sides get almost the loudest voice, even though they have the least amount of people in their camp, so to speak. But I'm totally with Phil on this, man. I think that I'm one who believes that as soon as conception happens, that's when life happens, and taking that away, man, before a child's even able to really get a chance to live life, no matter what the circumstances may be, it's just how many millions of lives have been lost, man. It's a very somber subject to think about, and because of that we often don't think about it. So whenever a song like this comes your way, man, it really gets the wheels turning. And hopefully I don't even view this as a political issue in my mind. I mean, it is, but I view this more as like a human issue at its core, man, for all the ones that can't speak up. And how, when they're born, will we maybe able to set in programs and places for single moms or whatever the case may be, to where they can get that support. So it's a big, grand issue, but I'm with Phil on what he has to say on it. And I know not everybody watching the video is going to be like that, but hey, man, that's my beliefs. That's Phil's beliefs, and I would assume Scott's beliefs as well. And I thought Phil did a good job tackling the subject, and knowing his background and story, it adds a bit more of a punch and credibility, so to speak, whenever he's singing that. So very well done song right there. And now we're gonna go, as we are through half of the list, ladies and gentlemen. Now we're going to go back to What a Day from 1973 with the track Walking with Our Lord. Scott notes, one thing that distinguished Keaggy was the exuberance and joy he expressed in this album. He clearly enjoyed his relationship with Jesus, and this was evident, especially with this track. All right, Walking with the Lord here, man, just a very uplifting tune, a very joyous tune, just not only in the melody, but also in, yet again, Keaggy's just vocal delivery, man. You can tell that he's authentic in what he's singing in here, man. I enjoyed the rhetorical questions at the start. Is the inventor of the ear unable to hear? The creator of the eye unable to see? Is his arm so short that he cannot save in your time of need? And we continue to go then to the very sing-songy like chorus. Follow me, he calls us. Come to me, he wants us. Trust in me, he tells us. Abide in me, he loves us. And even in these short phrases, packing in a lot of a theological truth about the relationship God has with us, and vice versa, man. I don't have too much more to add to it than it's a very happy tune, and I think sometimes you need these to, especially in just the darkness, and the world can easily get you down. So listening to a song like this to be a bit uplifted, I think is it's a great thing to have, and a great talent to have. And talking about just Phil in general in these early years, it seems. So now we're gonna go to Quite Suddenly, track number 7 on the list. Skip ahead a couple decades, go to 1998. Scott notes, one thing I've loved about Keaggy's lyrics through the years is that he's retained the simple innocence that was the hallmark of his early work. Funny coming right off of Walking with Our Lord. With this track, he looks forward to the day when Jesus will quite suddenly come to get those who belong to him. Years ago, I was teaching a Bible class and said simply that Jesus is returning for those who long to see him. A lady in the class objected to such a statement because she felt that not every Christian is sitting around waiting for Jesus to return. I respectfully pressed my point and reminded her that we are, in the words of Larry Norman, only visiting this planet, that our hope is for another country. I, for one, am anxious to see Jesus for Jesus to return and set things right. I'm there with you, Scott. Ain't that the truth, brother? And let's get this one underway. Yeah, maybe my favorite tune on this list so far. Quite Suddenly, bringing it here, man. And I like how Scott put this back to back with Walking with Our Lord, because we're 25 years after that song, and Phil's voice is a little more seasoned. Still sounds good, but he still has that authentic joy that he had in Walking with Our Lord. I thought that the orchestration was a great touch by Phil to include that in there, man. Added a bit of that beauty to the song in the instrumentation, man, and just the lyrical content of just quite suddenly, boom, the Lord will be there to appear and bring those who are his to heaven, man. And that's really delved out in the lyricism of the song. And Phil kind of paints different types of scenarios when it happened. It could be when I'm switching lanes in traffic. Maybe it's when I'm at work or going to bed, or whatever the case may be. I think my favorite was that last verse. Quite suddenly, it may be as I lie in a dreamless sleep, God's gift to many a sorrowing heart. heart with no more tears to weep, that a call shall break my slumber and a voice sound in my ear. Rise up, my love, and come away. Behold, the bridegroom's here. Just a very powerful verse and lyrics that really do stir your spirit, man. And yet again, you know, a song like this really gets you thinking and hopeful for that day, man. Whenever you can say goodbye to this temporary world and you know, be made anew and with the Lord forever in heaven, man. And I'm more sure of that than I am that I'm recording this video with y'all right now. You know, I just have such a faith in that and a hope in that can get you through a lot of those tough tough experiences that life has. So we have 3 songs left, ladies and gentlemen. Our last one over here on YouTube. We're going back to the flip side. 1980s, Spend My Life With You. Scott notes, Keaggy wrote this song as a lullaby for his and Bernadette's first daughter, their first child that was born healthy and strong. This might be my favorite Keaggy song for a variety of reasons. Maybe it's knowing the context in which he wrote it, but beyond that, the song communicates Keaggy's simple desire to pursue a life spent with Jesus at the center, and musically, I think it's one of his best written efforts. Wow, well, I guess I'll start with the I'll start with the musical you know, arrangement, man, because I was really impressed with it, especially that last minute and a half or two, where again we just were able to just enjoy the talent that Phil has on the guitar, man, with that acoustic, almost the way, I don't, you know, I'm not a guitarist, but the finger picking style or whatever was going on almost gave it a bit of a flamenco flavor, along with the percussion that was a bit exotic sounding as well. It was you know, some interesting musical textures in there, not only there but throughout the entire song, man. I enjoyed the kind of loud, quiet dynamic that we had building up that anticipation with that drum fill before the chorus dropped. I thought that was tight, man. And lyrically, you know, I like that this can apply, you know, it can apply either to a person or what Keaggy was going with, obviously, with the Lord right here. When will I see you again? Sleep come over me. Can't keep from closing my eyes. The day is gone, but you'll carry on, watching, protecting me into the dawn. Then another day to spend my life with you. Yet again, just that pure joy, that pure desire and want to you know, live a life where Jesus is at the center of it, man. What it should be. You know, we all go through our seasons, man, where, yeah, I know I do, where you're more close, then you kind of fall, you know, not fall away from the faith, but, you know, you have those, that fire within you sometimes, you know, going big, and sometimes it's a little bit of a fire, but in any case, the Lord is there with you, you know, seeing you through. And I think Phil was able to really just kind of get to the heart of that, and the just pure desire to live a life worthy of you know, being called a follower of Christ, man. I think that's in this song, and he notes, in your presence, Lord, there I will be satisfied, over and over again. You know, you kind of get a little I was getting a little throwback to some of those psalms that David would write, where, you know, you really just hear his purity of just wanting to live a life of God, you know. So really a strong song. I can see why it's your favorite, or possibly your favorite one, Scott. And we have 2 songs left, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna finish it out over on Spotify with song number 9, Maker of the Universe, from the Way Back Home record in '86. The lyrics for this track were written in the early 20th century by Frederick William Pitt. Scott was going to reserve this track for an Easter list later this year, and we'll probably still include it, so be sure to be on the lookout for that in a couple months, y'all. But for a Keaggy list, I have to include it here. I'll let the lyrics speak for themselves, except to say that they convey some of the more profound thoughts I've encountered surrounding the crucifixion Christ. Wow, what a theologically dense song here. Maker of the Universe, the shortest song on this list, and the most theologically dense. How do you like that, man? How do you like that? One verse was popping into my head as the lyrics were going on. Colossians 1:16, for by him all things were created, in heaven and on earth, visible and invisible, whether thrones or dominions or rulers or authorities, all things were created through him and for him. With that in mind, man, as you know, I believe that and recognize that, and yet I think kind of what Scott was getting to as well. These are very profound thoughts about the you know, Jesus literally dying on the cross. all involving things that he made. You know, you kind of putting those connecting those dots, so to speak. The way Keaggy was able to do that was really impressive. You know, musically, yet again, just kind of like Little Ones, since it is such a serious subject matter. You know, kept it with that acoustic pretty much being the driving force, and I thought that worked well because I mean the highlight of this song is the lyrical content, man. So the maker of the universe, as man for man was made a curse, the claims of law which he had made, you know, talking about Old Testament law, which nobody can, you know, fully fulfill because we're all sinners, unto the uttermost he paid. As we go on, he made the forest whence there sprung the tree on which his body hung. He died upon a cross of wood, yet made the hill on which it stood. Yet again, I think this song really just highlights the yet again just the unbelievably loving nature of Christ, man. You know, the creator of the world came down and you know, died for humanity that was against him while we were still sinners. You know, like that's that whole idea. It's no matter how many times you hear it, you know, as a believer, that still just it still stirs your spirit, man, and it is still you know, so humbling, and you know, it just makes you want to you know, follow the Lord, man, for all that he has done for you and continues to do, and for who he is. And so I think that there's so many lines like that in there that really just to steal again Scott's words, just a very profound thoughts on you know, the most important event in human history. You know, so great song right there, leaving me speechless over here. As we now go to the last song, A Sign Came Through a Window, number 10 on this list, live from the Kegworth studio in 2011. We have to finish with a bang, and yes, this is the song that I reacted to a few months ago, but it's going to bear another listen right here. Just a reminder, with this cut, Keaggy employs only his voice and his fingers for percussion and a 6-string guitar. His use of loops here is exactly what I have seen him do many times in concert. It's astonishing to sit and watch him perform, and he does so with absolute joy. He usually has to be dragged off the stage so people can go home. I might be overstating that a bit, but he clearly enjoys playing, whether the crowd is filling a large theater or a living room audience. One final bit of Phil Keaggy trivia. Due to a childhood accident, he's missing his ring finger on his right hand, so he's handicapped when it comes to picking his guitar. Definitely did not let that stop him. I'm remembering this now as I see it up. I remember this album cover, and I remember really enjoying this song. So good way to end this list off, and then afterwards I'll give my favorite tracks and overall thoughts on the list. Right, A Sign Came Through the Window live. I thought that was a great choice, Scott, to end this thing with a live performance, just to see the impressive nature. You could argue this was the most impressive display from Phil on the guitar work, just with knowing that it's only him up there, man. It at times felt like there were multiple guitarists up there, you know, around the 4-minute mark, almost had those psychedelic type of guitar effects in there, looping, whatever the case may be, man. I don't know how he did it. I just know it sounded really, really impressive, and you know, just kind of the way the you know, guitar melody just propelled the song. It gave it a bit of a, you know, bounciness and energy to it, and you know, what more can I say, man? Really impressive way to end this list off. And I guess speaking of A Sign Came Through a Window, I'll go to my favorites. It's going to be that song, and we'll bookend it. First song as well with What a Day. Quite Suddenly is going to be making my list as well. I can't leave off Maker of the Universe, and you know, Maker of the Universe was probably my absolute fave, just for how powerful it was, you know, lyrically at least. And I also am going to give some love to Spend My Life With You. I thought that was a very pretty song, as well as being really impressive instrumentally as well. And just wrapping up this top 10, man, I just am very glad that Scott brought this to our attention today, man. Be able to you know, send it out, and hopefully you enjoyed as well, man, and showcasing how musically rich and theologically impactful you know, Christian music can be when done in the you know, mature hands and you know, the gracious you know, words of somebody like Phil Keaggy, man. And you know, never heard of him. Unfortunately, you know, wasn't being played on the, you know, big Christian, you know, radio as I was growing up and, you know, involved in you know, church growing up and everything. So I'm glad that Scott's been able to really introduce me to some of these great Christian artists, man. And Phil is definitely, if he's not at the top of the list, he's very near the top. So really just impressive just display of guitar playing, of lyrical content, and being so authentic and joyful in these songs as well. Just, I think, adds a bit of a feather into to Phil's cap, so to speak, man. So let me know your favorite Phil Keaggy songs, your favorite from this list in general. Be sure to give Scott some love in the comments for bringing this to our attention today, man. Really enjoyable list. And if you'd like to support the channel and have me react to a song or a top 10 list, you can check out our Patreon page, which is linked below as well as at the end screen. But appreciate all of you watching. Hope you have a great rest of the day. Thanks again to Scott for bringing this. And until next time, thanks for watching. Happy listening, and I will see you.